Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It's Road here, and today it is finally time for me to do this video. I've been wanting to do ever since I finished watching Cobra Kai Season 5 last week. That is it. And as an update to an update list of my top 10 Cobra Kai fights. And yeah, there have been some stuff that's been there's been some rearrangements to this list. Because if you remember my last list, I had Sam and Tori round 1 as my number 1 fight, and I counted their round 1 fight as their tournament fight. Because the last fight they had was where it was at the school. It was just Cobra Kai versus the Miyagi-Dos. I almost put the Cobra Kai versus the Miyagi-Dos at the Cobra Kai Dojo on this list, but that didn't actually happen. I mean, the fight that happened in the dojo did happen. It's just that I think I found a fight that deserves to be number 1 more. And it's mainly because this fight is so, I'd say it's more iconic than Daniel's fight against Johnny in The Karate Kid. And if I had to rank all the fights from, if I had to rank all 3 final fights from all three of the Karate Kid films, it would probably go something like Chosen and Daniel at number 3, Mike and Daniel number 2, and Daniel and Johnny at number 1. Because the reason why I put it that way is because granted Chosen and Daniel were fighting to the death, they're also fighting over a girl. In other words, Daniel and Mike were fighting. Now, granted, Mike was fighting to get 50% of all Cobra Kai dojos. He was still fighting for money. And Daniel was still fresh so he didn't have to fight the tournament. So he didn't have to fight in the preliminaries. Daniel and Johnny in The Karate Kid will make number 1 because it's high school bully. Because it's 2 guys that potentially will become friends fighting over a trophy. And also just selling their differences. Now, without further ado, my top 10 Cobra Kai fights throughout all Cobra Kai from Season 1 to Season 5. A spoiler warning is now in effect. So number 10 is obviously going to be Johnny versus the high school bullies. Season 1, Episode 1. The reason why this fight still makes the list is because it's still iconic for Cobra Kai. That being the fact that this is a fight that makes Johnny realize that he wants to be a sensei, or I guess it's just like because it's one of the first fights we get to see in Cobra Kai when it's against a bunch of wrestlers, high school wrestlers against a 35-year-old karate guy, 35-year-old man who still knows Cobra Kai karate. Number 9 is from season 3. That'd be Johnny and Daniel versus the Chop Shop guys. So in case you guys remember, this happened in season 3. When after the high school fight after the school fight between the Miyagi-Dos and the Cobra Kais, where Miguel got kicked over the railing and Robbie was on the run. And so Robbie ends up taking a 93 Dodge Caravan, and then he ends up banning it. Johnny ends up taking it and does whatever the hell he wants, and basically keeps it. Number 8. Games versus the hockey players. Now, I find this very funny because it was Danny fighting a bunch of hockey players, and hockey's already a violent sport to begin with. Let's just put it that way. Hockey's already a very violent sport. If you had the 2-time All-Valley champ, or one of the 2-time All-Valley champs into the mix, and you insult a man's wife, you're gonna get your ass kicked. Hi, Pumpkin. Hi, Fluffy Girl. Alright, coming in at number 7 is, of course, Hawk versus Robbie, round 1. And I'm talking about the fight, I'm talking about the tournament fight in which Hawk actually beat Robbie. That was a dope fight. And it was really cool. And this happened towards the end of season 4. And of course, again, this was a very cool fight. It was Miyagi-Do versus Miyagi-Do, Cobra Kai versus Cobra Kai. In all essentials, it was almost my top fight of my last list. But I didn't make it, though. Alright. Coming in number 6 is our first season 5 fight. That's Samantha LaRusso versus Devin Lee. Now you'll be wondering, what am I talking about? When the hell did these two fight? Well, these two fight in season 5. Because it wasn't me Tori versus it wasn't me Tori and Sam. It wasn't me Tori versus Sam again. But then Tori pretty much. So what Terry was doing is like, peace. He just left. And the reason why they're fighting, it's not because there's another tournament involved, but it's because they're trying to get into a tournament. They're trying to get into the Seikai Taikai, the World Tournament of Karate. And so that's why, and of course that's why they're fighting. That's why this is going to make my list. Next up is coming number 5 is the season 4 fight, because these two fight season 4 of Johnny versus Daniel, which is almost a rehash of their first fight from the first Karate Kid movie, but except Daniel's trying to take over the training of the students, and Johnny don't like that. And I just feel like this fight deserves to be on my list, because it's basically Miguel and Sam being referees for their... Sam being a referee for her dad, and Miguel being a referee for his soon-to-be stepdad. Coming in at season number 4 in blah is the second to last fight of season 3. That being the house fight. Now, the house fight happens literally towards the end of season 3. It's one of the reasons why Daniel and Johnny team up together in season 4, and potentially team up again in season 5, where it's the Miyagi-Dos versus Cobra Kai. Again. But this time, Hawk changes sides in this fight. He goes from being a douchebag asshole Cobra Kai, being a respectful Miyagi-Do. Alright, now coming in at number 3, another season 5 fight. And I freaking love this because I get to say his name. I get to say the dude's name who's in this fight. Johnny, Chosen, and Mike Barnes versus Terry Silver and the Cobra Kai Senseis, minus Sensei Kim, who's busy fighting her students, Tori and Devin, and Samantha. So there's that. So yes, and of course, if you haven't seen my review of Cobra Kai Season 5, check it out before you come back and watch this video. Click on this video, go watch that. I'll put a card for it right here in the corner so you don't miss it. And make sure you check it out so you see. And be warned, I'm so freaking hyped. I put a spoiler warning ahead before I even got talking about it because I was so hyped for season 5. Now, before we get to number 2, I'm going to add in a few I'm going to add a few honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1, the school fight. Yes, for the longest time, the school fight was my number 1 fight of all time throughout Cobra Kai. Until season 4 came. So yes, I'm going to mention number 2. Johnny and Robbie versus Surfer Dudes versus Australian Surfers. Yeah, so basically, Johnny Robert out of Mexico trying to find Miguel, and lo and behold, there are these surfer dudes that are trying to pull a major scam. Number 3 Johnny versus a professional mixed martial artist. Versus a professional mixed martial artist. So they're about to go fight in the octagon, or a underground version of the octagon. It's one of the mixed martial artists. Yeah. And finally, my last honorable mention. I wanted to put this fight on this list. It was so epic! Both of me, I had it at number 1, but then I was like, do I really want this number 1? I mean, it was just a rehash of their first fight, their fight at the school. And it was Robbie versus Miguel, round 1. Yes, I say round 1 because technically it was round 2. Because round 1 happened during the tournament. And it happened during the first all-valid tournament in which Robbie was fighting for Miyagi-Do. So yeah, I wanted to put this on the list. I really wanted to. But I'm like, you know what? The tournament 1 fight ended up being the one I wanted after all. And that's it for story round 1. Nope. Number 2, Silver's story round 1. That's right. The fight that dominated my list for a better part of 8 months has now been knocked back to number 2. And of course, the school fights nowhere on this list. Shocker! Not? Now, Silver's story round 1 was so good. It showed how evil Tori Silver can be by paying off the ref, buying the last match, and it showed how good and how honorable Tori can be. Oh, okay, and now finally, the number 1 fight. Before we get to that fight, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to leave a comment, make sure to click the subscribe button, and make sure to ring that bell so you don't miss the next video. And without further ado, let's get on to number 1, which of course is Daniel LaRusso versus Terry Silver. Yes, you heard it right. Daniel LaRusso versus Terry Silver. Of course, Terry Silver and Daniel LaRusso fought earlier in the season. Wasn't going to count that fight because it wasn't Daniel as fighting at his best. Plus, it wasn't Daniel with being as calm as he can be. It was Daniel being so pissed off and so mad that he had to go apologize to Stingray for breaking his PlayStation. Instead, I'm going with Terry Silver and Daniel LaRusso at the Cobra Kai Dojo. The reason why is because it showed Terry Silver's students that Terry not that good of a fighter. It also showed Terry students that he can't win without paying someone off. And so, how is this fight ending, you may be wondering? Well, it ends with Terry Silver getting crane kicked into a glass cobra and seeing Terry Silver go off in the flashing red light paddy wagon all the way to the big house. Terry Silver's in jail! But a new fighter approaches. Be wary of what happens at the end of season 5. And I'm not going to spoil it here because I always spoiled it in my season 5 review. So without further ado, guys, like I said before, I introduced number 1. If you enjoyed my videos, make sure to leave a like, make sure to leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more videos. And without further ado, guys, I'm Raptor Lord, signing off. Peace.